So this is the two-stage process that I've gone through to help myself become a lot more focused and productive, and something that I've helped some of my clients do as well. For example, I did help one client with his weed addiction earlier this year, and going through this process has been able to help him eliminate his weed addiction entirely within a week, which is incredible, which is something I thought would never happen, but he did. That is to say, I don't guarantee those sorts of results for anyone. This is just something, some actionable items that you could do to have healthier habits and behaviors. He simply wanted to change. He simply really wanted to change, and these action steps really guided him in a better direction. So, like I said, I don't guarantee any significant results throughout this, but it will definitely help you go in a better direction. So this two-step process, it's the triggers and the routine. So this two-step process. So the triggers are simply a stimulus that evokes a certain behavior. If you have a phone with you during your working hours, if you have your phone like right on your desk or in your pockets, and that tempts you to pull it out to scroll on your phone, that is a trigger. If you have food in your pantry, like cookies or something unhealthy, and you're tempted to eat it simply because it's there, you saw it, that's a trigger on a website um, that you didn't even think about, but it drives you towards a certain action because, say, if it's like a burger from McDonald's and you didn't even crave that until you saw the ad, right? That is a trigger. So anything that is a stimulus that promotes a response. And usually it happens from past experience as well. So usually our phones by itself isn't really much of a trigger until we make it a trigger. So typically, like we'd spend day by day pulling out our phones from our pockets or from our desk to scroll, and then that becomes a stimulus response, and then the phone itself becomes a stimulus for that action, and we become so conditioned to pull out our phones. So the simplest way of fighting this is to remove the trigger. And it's as simple as that, right? Having your phone within your own desk or in your phone or in your pocket during your working hours, for example, you're going to fall into it. You're going to fall into that trap of just doom scrolling or playing a mobile game, and then you're going to be distracted, and it's going to pull you away from focus, from what actually matters. So the easiest thing is to simply remove the trigger, and it can be more than just the phone, right? So what I do is when I start my working hours, or at least the first few hours of my day, I want to make sure I'm taking care of my deep work sessions. I do my writing. I do anything that needs to be taken care of first thing in the morning. That's most important to me. That is cognitively demanding. I don't want to have these triggers pulling me away from the work that needs to be done. So I don't have my phone with me. I keep my essentials. So um, I keep a notepad, I keep a journal, I have my keyboard, the computer, and then that's it. I don't have my phone distracting me. I don't even have other like a million tabs to check through. I do one task at a time, and being able to remove those triggers helps me do that. So remember, if you take away anything from this, a trigger is simply a stimulus, and we want to, we want to remove these triggers to effectively focus and be productive. So that's it for the triggers. And for the routine, we want to optimize a routine based on our environment. So we want to make easy things hard and the hard things easy. Again, pretty bad handwriting. But we're essentially optimizing a routine so that The easy things are hard and the hard things are easy. So, a practical application for this is that if you want to work out or go to the gym, then eliminating the steps necessary for you to go to the gym or work out is crucial. And then not only that, but making extra steps necessary for you to avoid working out or going to the gym. So we can, for example, set up work clothes or workout clothes next to our bed the night before. So if we want to do a morning workout where we don't have a whole lot of things going on during that morning, we don't have a bunch of other people taking up time in our day. We have time for ourselves, and this is usually the time where people can take advantage of their long-term goals. And optimizing the routine to make the hard things easy, such as working out, by setting your clothes next to your bed, it almost eliminates several steps along the way. If you have your clothes in your closet, then you have to think about what you want to wear. You want to Then you have to go across the house to find your shoes. Like these simple things that we could implement to make the hard things easier is going to help us in our lives so much more. And this is what I've done in my own life, like verbatim, when I would want to work out and go for a run, right? I have a goal of being able to travel or run or walk 1,000 miles in 1 year. I don't know if I don't know if I'll be able to make it, but this is exactly what I do to optimize my routine to make things a whole lot easier for me to be more consistent and do the hard things and make them a lot easier. And also placing roadblocks or obstacles on the easy things to make them hard. So when we on the topic of phones or social media, I like to use a screen time app called Opal, and it makes things so much harder for me to just pull up social media and scroll. Right, I have working hours from 8 to 5, where I can't be on my phone unless I have to go to Opal itself, wait 30 seconds for me to take a break, and then be able to scroll on my phone. There are extra steps involved for me to um, go on these social media apps to scroll. In fact, I'm not even much of a fan of having social media on our phones anyway, where I I pretty much deleted most of my social media apps on my phone. I keep maybe Snapchat for my girlfriend because we talk on Snapchat a lot. But otherwise, I don't really keep much social media apps on my phone. If I do anything social media wise, it's on the desktop and on my computer or my laptop, which I have more of an intention on using on my desktop than my phone. But I digress. Trying to set obstacles for things that are easy and making as little steps as possible to do the hard things is a great way to go about your life and changing your environment to where it gives you a healthier habits and a better behavior. So this is the two-step process that I followed, and this has saved me so much time, so much energy, and leans me towards focus and productivity a whole lot more than anything else I've done in my life. I hope that helped someone out and gave a little bit of value. And yeah, I'd love to have more discussions about this. If there's anything that you'd like to discuss, let me know in the comments. Let me know underneath this video, and let's let's get the ball rolling. Let's figure things out, and hopefully you can apply this in your life where this can set you in a better direction because it has helped me and several other people that I've helped with. So, yeah, I'll catch y'all later.